Hello everyone, it's me, the Pineapplegrenader, and welcome to a very special video. It's an E3 2021 discussion, and I haven't done something like this in a very long time. The first kind of video I did with this was the Ubisoft Forward 2020 discussion video, and I've always wanted to do one for E3, and I'm really excited to do this one because this is the first time in a year that E3 is back. It was cancelled due to the pandemic in 2020, so I wasn't able to do any sort of discussion video. It was very scattered, lots of different presentations from lots of different companies, and Nintendo bowed out and stuff like that. But it seems like everyone's gathering together, and so I decided I'd try and throw my hat into the ring and try and record some stuff. One thing to be note of is that I'm actually recording this on the 19th of May, so this might come out the week of E3, but I'm not entirely sure. I might maybe put it like the first week of June or something. I say this because as of now, there have been so many rumors and leaks and all kinds of different things coming out. It's just like there's so much information, but there's also so little information too. As of right now, I have no idea when Nintendo is doing their presentation. I think Ubisoft is the only company that actually set their date and their time for their presentation, and we're not even sure, or at least I'm not sure, what format this is going to take. Like, will we be able to watch these presentations on the E3 website? Will they be streaming on like streaming websites and YouTube and stuff? There's a lot we don't know, but I've just been really itchy to just like talk about so much stuff. I just have a lot of stuff on my mind, so I just wanted to try and make something real quick. So I just want to let you know that like this might be outdated by the time this comes out, because there's just so much information, so many leaks, so much stuff being debunked and being deconfirmed and stuff and being reconfirmed. It's just a lot of stuff, and I just want to talk about it now. So if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. Maybe you can stick around. I'm doing a lot more analysis stuff in the future, and hopefully you'll like what I'm making. So I won't be talking about every single company. I'm only going to be talking about WB Games, Sega, Ubisoft, and Nintendo. And those are the focus for this video, and I'm going to start off with WB Games. Okay, so the first company that I decided to talk about is WB Games, Warner Brothers Games. Now, initially I was only going to talk about LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, mostly because that's really I wouldn't say it's the only game I'm interested in. The list of games that I'm interested in are Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and the hypothetical Injustice 3. I can't really say I can think of any specific WB games at the moment, but those are like the big four that I can think of. I was initially gonna talk about LEGO Star Wars, but it seems like not just TT Games, but like a whole bunch of companies under WB Games are being sort of I guess they're like in risk of being broken up, because as far as I can know, the AT&T merger is continuing, and so the idea is, at least from what I can gather, I'm not too savvy with a lot of this stuff, but at least what I can gather is that when the merger comes in, AT&T will decide what companies they'll keep and hypothetically which companies they'll sell. So I think this is sort of the thing that's been getting people to think maybe why some companies have been kind of weird, and how a lot of big games have suddenly gotten some indefinite delays. A few weeks ago, TT Games indefinitely delayed LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and that was only really like, I guess it was sort of like a delay. People say it was like delayed twice, but not really, mostly because the first time they didn't really have like a solid release date, and then even when they put out some more information on it at Gamescom 2020 with their trailer there, it was only really like spring 2021. And then when spring came around, it's like, nothing really was happening, so everyone kind of assumed that like it's probably going to get delayed again, even though it never really was delayed. I think the thing is that like I think their strategy was like, you can't really delay a game that never really had an actual release date. And it can be kind of frustrating, I guess, as a LEGO games fan, because you feel like, well, these games are kind of similar. They should be coming out a lot quicker. There's like a lot of promotion and stuff that you need to do, and we need to know a little bit more about, the season pass or whatever, and obviously the game after Skywalker Saga. But from what we can gather from like interviews from the very first press viewings of the game at, I believe, E3 2019, I believe, right? And like all that stuff is that this feels like maybe like a new chapter in like the LEGO game series. Like they're trying to do new things. It sounds like they're working with a new engine, and obviously it's a lot of content dealing with like 9 whole films. So it's obviously going to be a big game from the start. I guess maybe at the very least I might have underestimated the scale of this game. I don't know. It's weird. Some people are theorizing that TT Games is going to be one of the first companies to go, because LEGO is now has a partnership with Universal instead of Warner Brothers. I don't know how much that extends to like, because to me it sounds a lot more like they're doing film. Like it's mostly just extended to like film and music. Because I can't think of too much like Universal stuff that LEGO's done outside of maybe like Jurassic World. Like LEGO obviously has the license to do Jurassic World sets, and they had the Jurassic World game, and there have been a few Jurassic World TV episodes, like TV shorts alongside. I believe Lego City Undercover was made with like a team at Universal, I believe. I'm not really entirely sure, but I think the theory is, or like the logic behind that, is that since LEGO has such has like a new partnership with Universal, there's no reason for Warner Brothers to really have own TT games or be associated with them, because hypothetically they'd be making content for other Universal properties or future LEGO movies. I'm not too entirely sure about that, because whenever LEGO and TT Games deal with other properties, they're just like, it's just like a whole other thing. Like, even though there are Marvel games and there are Star Wars games, Warner Brothers still publishes those. They also published the Cars 3 game, so it's not too far-fetched to see Warner Brothers publish games with content that's from Universal, at least in my opinion. I can't remember if there's any Universal properties in LEGO Dimensions, but really it isn't, in my mind, it isn't too far-fetched from from them doing like, LEGO The Incredibles or LEGO Star Wars or LEGO Marvel's superheroes or whatever. So I'm a little far-fetched. I think it's far-fetched to think that their connection with Universal has anything to do with their involvement in their future involvement with Warner Brothers, especially since they still have a large connection with Warner Brothers. Obviously they still do DC stuff, and they're still the collectible minifigure series with Space Jam. And I think as far as I can tell, Warner Brothers owns the rights to the LEGO movie franchise. So if if Universal's going to be doing anything, it's probably going to be a different franchise, a brand new franchise, and then they would own that franchise. I don't think ownership of the Lego Movie franchise with characters like Emmett and Wild Style and Benny and Unikitty and stuff is going to like transition over to Universal or something. That's kind of how I'm feeling. But even though I'm skeptical about TT Games being the one being bought out, I still feel like maybe they're being like affected by this whole merger thing. Maybe they're all in limbo. I'm not too up to date with NetherRealm. I only really like connected, like at least following NetherRealm in the context of Injustice, and because of that, I'll tangentially viewing stuff about Mortal Kombat, mostly just like DLC trailers and stuff. But supposedly NetherRealm has been like weirdly quiet, and I haven't paid attention to Mortal Kombat 11 since Joker came out. So for me, it's like that's not true. Probably like Rambo, right? Like Rambo. So for me, it's like my first train of thought is, did they do any promotion for the movie, right? For the new Mortal Kombat movie. I'm not a massive Mortal Kombat fan, as you can obviously tell. So if anybody's watching this who knows or is sort of like up to date with Mortal Kombat news, you can maybe tell me in the comments if they did anything for the movie. I don't know if Mortal Kombat 11 has some sort of mobile counterpart like Injustice 2 did, and maybe they did something for that there. I'm not sure, but to me, that's something that I think about a lot. It's like, if they're not doing anything for the movie, then like, well, what's going on, you know? So yeah, I guess a lot of stuff is really in limbo, and that kind of sort of leads to like the big question, the big thing I'm leading up to is, when are we going to see Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? As far as I can tell, okay, so at least to break stuff down. So we don't know when Lego Star Wars is coming out. We don't know when Gotham Knights is coming out. We know that Suicide Squad is coming out 2023. I think that's what they said at DC Fandom. And then Injustice 3 is just like some weird fever dream thing that we all kind of assume is happening, but maybe not because of the weird Marvel rumors, NetherRealm Marvel rumors. But going back to Lego Star Wars, I don't think this thing goes into 2022. I think this game is coming out this year. And I'm going to say, like, I was going to say fall, right? But that only gives them like maybe like a few months for promotion. Like hypothetically, if they wanted to say put it out in October, right? From like June, so it's like June, July, August, September, October. It's only like 5 months, right? I think that this is going to come out holiday. I think it's coming out holiday. That gives them like at least like 2 more months for promotion, right? Something along the lines of that. And I think it's also just like so much Star Wars stuff comes out on Christmas. Most Star Wars movies come out on Christmas. I imagine something for Disney Plus is going to come out on that holiday period. I just feel like you have the benefit, like not even just that, it's like you have the association with the Star Wars stuff. They can do some big promotion where they just like gather all the Star Wars stuff that's happening around the holidays and be like, this is the Star Wars stuff, and includes, you know, Skywalker Saga in there. And plus, I don't know, it's Star Wars, right? It's Lego, it's Star Wars. I feel like you don't need to do too much to advertise this thing. I don't think people are going to be like, there's a Lego Star Wars? I didn't know. I mean, I just feel like it's not going to be a hard thing to advertise. So, in my personal opinion, I think that Star Wars Saga is still on track for this year, personally. Everything else is still kind of in limbo. I kind of feel like we'll probably see a bit of Gotham Knights at E3. The important thing to think about, though, is that, especially for all the DC stuff I'm talking about, that there's another DC fandom event coming in October, I believe. Yes, it's in October, I believe. So, just like we saw Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights there, we could hypothetically see them there as well. Which also begs the question if we'll see Injustice 3, right? There's been a few rumors going around that Marvel is teaming up with NetherRealm to make a Marvel game. And some people are thinking that this is also where we'll see DC versus Marvel. I don't think it'll happen there. I don't know why everyone's talking like that's going to be a thing that happens. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be DC versus a Marvel game, but I am very skeptical about NetherRealm doing a Marvel game, only because there's still Injustice content coming out in the form of, I think, a few comics. I don't know if that Justice League of America, there's like an old timey Justice League comic that was set in the Injustice universe, sort of like before the events of Injustice, and that was something that, you know, was in discussion when the last DC fandom was happening, whether or not, oh, maybe this means that they're still doing Injustice stuff and their writers are still working on things, and there's a whole bunch of weird teases and stuff. So in my opinion, I don't know. It's been way too long since the discussion of Injustice 3. So I think just because, like, of all the weird merger stuff, maybe Injustice 3 is happening, but that's in limbo, so they can't announce anything. That's probably kind of what's happening. I still don't really think we're seeing the Marvel game. I don't think I really believe it. But I think we're in a situation where whatever Mortal Kombat, whatever Injustice stuff NetherRealm is dealing with, we can't just, I think it's just because of limbo, basically, because of this weird merger thing. I hope nothing weird happens and stuff gets canceled and stuff. I'd be kind of disappointed about that, but I don't know. That's what it is. So I guess to make a long story short, I feel like Lego Star Wars is probably going to be this holiday, and I think we'll probably see a little bit of it this year. I think we'll see a little bit of it at E3 this year. So I think that's all I have to say about Warner Brothers. So I think next we'll move on to Sega. Alright. Okay, so Sega. I don't care about anything else. Only Sonic. I'm only talking about Sonic. Okay, so Sonic. Sonic's weird. He's turning 30. He's turning 30 this year, and I don't know. It's weird. Apparently, and I don't know, I guess I must have just been like asleep or something, but like last year, they didn't do anything. They didn't like do anything for his birthday last year. Which, I mean, I guess because it was his 29th, but like also just like no acknowledgement, nothing. I mean, of course we're in the throngs of the pandemic, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I think that's probably one thing that like it's easy to sort of forget. It's like it's easy for us to get like take the piss about, you know, Sega or whatever, or the Team Sonic, and be like, where's our Sonic game? We deserve a, you know what I mean? Like, get into that weird, like, Karen, the customer's always right mode, because, I don't know, we're all bitter and jaded about Sonic Forces or whatever, but I don't know, it's not even, like, the pandemic's over or anything. Things might be decreasing in the US, but, like, it's still pretty bad all over across the world, and, you know, people still struggling to, like, do anything, let alone make, you know, video game entertainments, things that are not important in the world. So it's easy to, you know, lose perspective and, you know, perpetually take piss about like stuff that doesn't really matter. But at the same time, it's kind of been a while since we've seen anything about Sonic. There have been a ton of rumors, some from credible leakers. I think the biggest one right now is the Sonic Colors re-release, the Sonic Colors Remaster, which has been dubbed Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is a very strange name, because for something to be ultimate, it needs to be all-encompassing, like the complete package. So, like, and it's like, especially with like discussion about what this game could include, it's sort of like what could this game add to call it Ultimate? Because if it's just going to be like an upscaling, right, then just call it Sonic Colors Remastered. Why Ultimate, right? Like, okay, so like there's a thing like about like some rumors were saying that they might include cutscenes from the Colors DS game, but why not, you know, figure out a way to recreate the DS levels, right? I know that they were in a different style. They weren't exactly like 2D boost games, but like more like rush games. But I don't know. That'd be more Ultimate. There's also some other rumors saying that like Movie Sonic's gonna be a skin. Maybe Tails will be playable. I don't know. I wasn't able to play Colors, so I can't really say what I want to see in the game. I don't know. I'm speaking like this might be real, but it feels kind of real because it was leaked by a German dubbing company, which is weird why they need to do a dub for a game that's already been released, but I guess they just never had a German dub, so that feels like it leads more credibility, especially since the company specifically has done stuff for Sonic. I believe Sonic Boom Fire Ice and Forces, maybe, right? So I don't know. I guess that's probably what like everyone's sort of latching onto, right? If like a company that's already been associated with Sonic is saying something Sonic is coming, yeah, I could sort of see why people are sort of saying that this is probably plausible. When we'll see it though is really interesting. Like I said before in the intro, I'm recording this on the 19th of May, and there was a state of play rumor that said that would probably be the place where Sonic Colors Ultimate would be announced. There's a lot of weird. I don't remember a lot of the stuff on there. There's a lot of stuff about Sunset Overdrive on there, and one about the Mitchells versus the Machines, which weirdly enough is like the thing that like kind of makes me believe this leak, because I feel like a random Mitchells versus the Machine tie-in game made by WayForward is something I just feel like probably would happen. I don't know. It just feels like too random of a thing to like throw into a fake leak. Like the leak talks a lot about Sunset Overdrive after there was like a trademark by Sony for it, since Sony owns Insomniac Games, and Insomniac Games made Sunset Overdrive. I believe Insomniac owns the IP, but Xbox owns the first game. But the state of play leak says that there would be sort of like a re-release or a remaster of the first Sunset Overdrive for PS4 and PS5, and then there'd be a Sunset Overdrive sequel. I don't know. That's one thing, right? So it's like you have two things that are sort of like dueling to see whether or not that thing is this leak is even real, right? Like it feels too soon for them, at least in my opinion, for there to be already like Sunset Overdrive stuff just as that trademark was being made. All at the same time, like there's that really weird, no one's even thinking of, like Mitchells versus the Machine movie tie-in, you know. I don't know if that thing was made when maybe the movie was going to be in theaters. I don't remember if the movie was always designed to be streaming, so a tie-in game is already kind of weird. But it just feels like such a random thing that makes me like feel like this leak, and by extension Sonic Colors Ultimate, is I don't know, is maybe real. When we're gonna see it? Supposedly, I don't really remember where I saw this, but supposedly the game was supposed to come out in September of 2020, and people are thinking that it might be pushed towards September of this year. Part of me feels like maybe they'll push it to holiday. I don't know, because the thing for me is that like this is going to be a multi-plat game, right? It's one extra thing that's gonna bolster the library of the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, and the PS5. So part of me feels like, hypothetically, maybe someone wants to go and get one of these new consoles, and they're a Sonic fan, and there's a Sonic game out there. Not to mention, there's also another weird thing with the PS5 where I don't know, I remember seeing this, and I think the idea is that like for certain games you can choose whether or not you want to pick the PS4 version or a PS5 version of the game if the game was re-released for PS5. And Sonic Forces never had a PS5 re-release, but there's an option to pick the PS5 version even though it didn't exist, which is leading people to believe that Sonic Forces Remastered is another thing that we could see, which sort of leads into like a huger thing, like whether or not Sonic Colors is a part of some bigger, larger port release. Because I know a part of the big Sonic leak is that we're going to get some sort of some sort of port collection of games that haven't been re-released in a while. I don't know if some of the more uncredible leaks are an extension of this, because I've also seen Sonic Generations Ultimate and Sonic Unleashed Ultimate, and people have given the reasons as to why, even though they'd love to have Unleashed re-release, why Colors would be the more likely decision, and it's probably more likely than Unleashed, mostly because it's less divisive. It was super successful sales wise. It was made for a lower power console, so it would be easier to upscale. Whereas a game like Sonic Unleashed was designed for the most powerful consoles at its time, so it would be a lot more effort to upscale maybe. It's also a lot more divisive because of its gameplay. Because of its gameplay. So because of that, it's like an Unleashed Ultimate doesn't seem feasible, or at least realistic. A Sonic Generations Ultimate does, however, I think. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I totally believe in the idea of like a new port collection, right? I'm just not sure how many like 3D games are going to be in there, because history, has told us that like at least for the past Sonic collections have mostly been like classic centric games, right? But I don't know. I mean, that was also around the time when we only really had like Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog, and and like Adventure and Adventure 2 had their own dedicated re-releases on GameCube. So it's like I didn't really feel like they really needed to include a lot of like 3D stuff, And even now, it's sort of like all of these games are a lot bigger. You know what I mean? Like, you can justifiably say add all of classic Sonic stuff and a lot of like fringe stuff like 3D Blast or R or Spinball or whatever, or like a lot of like fringe classic Sonic stuff, and put them in a big collection. Maybe put it like for $30 and you'd be like, yeah, sure, I can totally be down with that. But then it's like if you like throw in like stuff like Lost World or like Forces or like maybe even like Mania, maybe, right? Like, then it becomes like kind of too much of a steal, Like, yeah, sure, maybe we might get this port collection, but I don't know how much, because it's like, I think Forces was like $40, right? I think also, what was it? I think also Generations was like $60, So it's like, yeah, sure, these are old games, but it's like, I also feel like Lost World was like $30, but I don't know if Lost World's ever going to get re-released. But I'm just saying hypothetically. My point I'm making is that, are these going to be a part of a larger port collection, or are these going to be separate re-releases? What will justify people to buy a larger, or like a new version of Sonic Colors and a remastered version of Sonic Forces, outside of the fact that you might have not have played these games? Because the only reason why I would buy this game is because I never got a chance to play Colors, and the secondhand price for these games online is getting kind of stupid, like stupid dumb, stupid poo poo dumb. Like, I don't know, like it's starting to reach like $60. And I'm like, no, that's too much for me for like a Wii game. But like, if you add stuff, you know what I mean? I'm skeptical, because all the stuff that a lot of leaks have been saying about what's going to be in it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the DS story and like the console story of Colors are really different, you know. So it's weird that they like include weird. It'd be weird if they included both of those things, right? It would be kind of weird if they just like, I don't know. I'm not sure if that makes a whole lot of sense. But I don't know. I've been yammering on about Sonic Colors Ultimate for too long. What are we going to get for a mainline game? Well, there was a press release that said that they're going to be doing stuff in 2022. So that's leading people to believe that nothing's coming this year, right? One of a part of the credible leakers' big Sonic leak was that we'd be getting a new 2D game this year in sort of a DIMP style. Well, they're speculating that's a DIMP style. I don't know if they specifically said if it's going to be like in a Sonic Rush style, but like what they're saying is that it's going to be like a new 2D game with the modern cast, with a modern design, and it would be coming out like this year, like summer, you know. And yeah, that's feasible, right? I don't know. I guess for me, it's like the one thing I've like come to the conclusion is that like whatever game comes out this year in holiday is only going to have like a fraction of the time that regular Sonic games get promotion for, you know. Like Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces all at least had like a year for promotion, you know, for like, you know, announcing stuff and promoting stuff and giving it to press to discuss about things and stuff like that. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense though, right? You give them enough time, but it's like whatever new thing that's coming out, it's like you're not gonna have enough time to promote it, you know. Like you need like as much time as you need to promote that stuff, which is why like ports or remasters work well for stuff this year. That's the only thing I'd say. Like a few months ago, I'd probably be like, yeah, we'll see something this year. I think, see, that's the thing, right? Like if this game comes out summer, no, not even summer, maybe like even like November or something, right? They still have to like start talking about stuff this year, right? Like, I think at most we need to see like a Team Sonic Racing style teaser. You know what I mean? At like the last South by Southwest where we got the first teaser of the Sonic Racing game, and we just saw Sonic R, and that led to a whole discussion about what the name of the game was going to be like. A lot of people said Super Sonic Racing, but it turned out to be Team Sonic Racing. So that's kind of how I'm feeling, right? Yeah, this game could come out 2022, which makes sense so that they can have it coincide with like the movie and a new TV show, and so like they have all that stuff concurring, and it's like they all feed off of each other and build up momentum, and that makes sense. But we need to start seeing stuff now if that's going to happen, right? Because there's no way they can start announcing stuff, you know, E3 next year for Sonic, or like, you know what I mean, or like the hypothetical next South by Southwest, and like they only have that much time, and then that means that whatever's coming out is probably going to come out like 2023 instead. I don't know. Doesn't seem like that works out pretty well. I don't know. I can get why people are antsy though. And I don't know. I already said before that it probably isn't really responsible to be taking the piss at companies who are obviously struggling to deal with the pandemic on top of other stuff that's going on with the pandemic. But at the same time, I also kind of feel like the easiest way for people not to take the piss so much is just like, you know, to have stuff. Like I have conversations with my friend all the time about why, you know, like people being pissed off about Paper Mario the Origami King doesn't sting as much as Sonic Forces. I think that's just because we have such a massive wait between games, whereas one divisive Mario game means nothing because there's always something Mario related that you can always like pay attention, that you can always engage with. It's like you have spin-offs, you have mainline games, you have inclusions and crossovers like Smash Brothers or Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games or something. Sonic, it's like one thing, and that one thing needs to be good unless and justify the amount of time that people have been waiting, you know? And so it's like, so my solution is that they need to have something that they can have that can continuously sort of engage the fan base. And my idea was like some sort of console version of Speed Battle or something, Sonic vs. Speed Battle, the mobile game. Not something exactly like that, but essentially like some sort of online like multiplayer game that people can just like jump in and is engaging the interest of people who are interested in Sonic, you know. Every time they have some random new costume or something, everyone starts talking about it, and it's not just like Speed Battle, it's also Sonic Dash or whatever, you know. They always have something, you know, that engages fans and that starts conversations and stuff. It's frustrating though, because I feel like Team Sonic Racing could have been that thing, you know, like especially since it came out around the same time as Crash Nitro Kart. Like that game had like sort of like a battle pass equivalent. They had so much updates, they had so many new challenges and stuff, and it's like that cultivated a player base that's still engaging with that game now. But like Team Sonic Racing just came out and it's like no one's playing it. Like I've always wanted to pick up the game, you know. In my personal opinion, the game looks nice, like visually. I like all the music. I'm thinking to myself, hey, this game sounds like it could be pretty fun. But like, I just know that the Nintendo Switch version of the game just doesn't have anybody playing it, which is really disappointing because it's a really nice looking game and I'd be totally down to play it. But like, if no one's playing it, then what's the point of like getting the game? You know, that's always been like an issue for me with some games where like, I really wanted to play Super Bomberman R and like, nobody played that game online. So it's like, I only had to be stuck with the story mode, and like, I just had no reason to have the game because there's nobody to play it with. I don't know, that's just one solution, one hypothetical solution. But I don't know, it's not really a big deal. There's so much Sonic stuff that's going to be coming out in the future that I think it'll be worth it. There was an Aaron Weber clip on their Sonic podcast that was going around, and I think it's a good refresher for you know, a few Sonic fans that are feeling kind of antsy. Basically, it's like this is a different Sega from the 2000s, where it's like we always have to have a Sonic game, we always have to have Sonic in something, we always have to engage, but it also came at the sacrifice of quality. So now it's like you want to make something that's worthwhile, you know. And so the wait is going to be longer, but the wait, I personally think, will be worth it. I don't know, I've been talking about Sonic for a long time. To wrap things up, I think Sonic Colors is going to be holiday, and I think we have to see something small though, but something this year or close to this E3, close to the summer period, if we're hoping to see the next Sonic game in 2022. If we don't see any sort of teaser for anything this year, then I'm gonna question when the next Sonic game is. Alright, enough Sonic. The next company we're gonna talk about is Ubisoft. Okay, alright. Ubisoft. Okay, so, I'm thinking, okay, so, I mean, you know me, right? Like, I'm only really here for, like, 3 things. Rayman, Rabbids, and Brawlhalla. I mean, okay, just to get, like, all the small stuff out of the way. There's been, like, a lot of weird discussion about the whole free-to-play thing. I think people are misconstruing the news. I don't think that Ubisoft is going completely free to play. I think what they're doing is they're reducing the amount of AAA games that they're releasing, and they're gonna try and offset that with more free to play games involving their franchises. I don't think this means that they're gonna stop making AAA games. They're just reducing the number of those games, and what they're trying to do is that I think this also means that they could also offset that with a lot of smaller games, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. there was another release that they said that Skull and Bones was being delayed to 2023, I believe. Either that or was being delayed indefinitely. I don't really remember. So before I start going in depth about all the other stuff, just some real quick stuff. We'll obviously see something about The Division and Rainbow Six Siege and Tom Clancy, because we always see stuff about that. I think this is the presentation where we'll see a lot more about Far Cry 6. I think we'll probably get another look at Riders Republic. I don't remember if that one got delayed to 2022 or if it was a indefinite delay. I definitely don't think it was supposed to come out in 2020 unless I don't remember. I also don't remember if there are any new delays for Roller Champions, but I could totally see them talking a bit about that here too. Maybe something in the pre-show, maybe. Because I don't know. Part of me feels like we know enough about the game for them to maybe do something about that, to just tell us when it's coming out. But they might still be in like beta or something. Not really sure. But that's the stuff I expect to see. I don't think we'll see anything about movies. I'll get into movie stuff in a bit. But like I know that they announced the Division movie. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to see anything about like movies or TV shows. At least not too much of it. It could go into something in like the pre-show. But I think it's too early to see any new Ubisoft like TV movie stuff. Especially the stuff that they said they were going to do for streaming. I mean, I don't know. Maybe streaming stuff, right? Maybe this is the year that we start to see a lot of that streaming stuff that they announced. Because I know they had a whole bunch of animated stuff that they're talking about doing. And so that was a thing. Maybe that's where we could see it. I don't know. Because it's like, going back to the last Sonic discussion, we just got the announcement of Sonic Prime just like randomly, you know? Would we see anything from Sonic Prime in like, say, a Sonic anniversary presentation? Maybe. I don't know. Part of me just feels like it's E3, it's game season, even if, like, say, these projects are tangentially related to games. I'm unsure if whether or not that has anything to do, like, that's going to be enough to, like, entice people, like, to, you know, move them from being interested in, like, their games into their, like, television stuff. But okay, let's just get into the stuff. The reason why I mentioned Brawlhalla and Rayman isn't just because I'm interested in that stuff, but because there's a specific rumor that's going around, or a supposed leak, I should say, that's tied to both of those characters. And so basically it goes is that there's this YouTuber who covers a lot of Smash leaks called Papagenos, and he got sent in a Discord DM a link to a video by someone who claims that they work at Brawlhalla, and they say that Brawlhalla is going to have a few crossovers coming soon. One of them is going to be TMNT, and the next one after that is going to be Street Fighter. And attached to that that message, they also said that they are unsure if Rayman is going to be in Smash. So the big takeaway from that, PG talked about how he felt that like the video that he saw was credible, but he didn't want to give it away because of, you know, legal stuff. So he's under the impression that this might deconfirm Rayman. And I don't know. I don't want to get into Rayman stuff now. I just want to get into Brawlhalla, right? I don't know about the crossovers, right? Because I feel like we just got Kung Fu Panda, right? I mean, I understand that, like, you know, these companies, they have to work ahead of time, you know, because they're planning stuff months in ahead. We're in a position now, especially since the latest, as of me recording this, the latest newest seasonal event, Brawlhalla, just finished. We're in a position now where we could have like a new a new seasonal event almost every month, right? June is Heat Wave. September is probably home team, back to school, whatever. Then we have the Halloween event, and then we have Christmas, Valentine's, St. Patrick's Day, and then we loop back to Brawlhalla, right? So that's like a decent amount. And then in between that, we also have battle passes and, you know, obviously the crossovers, right? So it's usually sort of like, I don't know if I could really say I understand the pattern, but I'm thinking it's like seasonal event, battle pass, crossover, character, or new weapon or something like that, right? In that sort of order. I'm not saying they're like adhering to that order strictly, but what I'm getting at is that I just don't feel like I'm skeptical about this because I feel like it's super soon, you know? Like there's like a massive gap between Ben 10 and The Walking Dead. You know what I'm talking about? There's a significant amount of months. Like I don't know. I think I feel like Kung Fu Panda was like in April, right? Like Kung Fu Panda was in April, right? And so I don't really understand when they'd have to announce TMNT, right? Because hypothetically the idea is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be the next it's going to be like the next crossover. So I don't know when they'd have to announce or like when this thing would have to come out so that they have some breathing room. I don't know if breathing room matters, but it's just sort of like, I don't know. I just feel like there has to be some sort of space, right? Because Kung Fu Panda, I personally feel like is a really big deal, you know? I feel like that's like a big like property, you know? And it feels weird to just sort of like put that, and then you have TMNT, and then like I imagine maybe like a few months later you're gonna have Street Fighter, and I know those are like they're gonna be spaced out, right? I'm just saying that like having this leak come out now, and like with the understanding that we just got Kung Fu Panda, and like now especially like really close to like Ubisoft's Ubisoft's forward, like E3 forward presentation. I'm just really skeptical, you know. I'm working on a video about my personal crossover ideas, and I remember distinctly feeling like TMNT were really hard because they all have like really like a lot of characters have really distinct weapons. In my video, I was thinking about maybe using the Rise versions because they all use different weapons. They use different weapons from their traditional weapon set, and they also eventually like graduate towards their traditional weapons. But the general idea I was getting at was that I feel like it's really hard to do TMNT. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. For me, it's like my main thing for me is that I'm not sure if we're gonna see anything from Brawlhalla in this forward, right? Because I feel like it has to be something big, right? Past E3s, it was Adventure Time, and then it was the Adventure Time crossover, and then it was the announcement of Brawlhalla on mobile, right? Unless I'm missing something, I'm pretty sure that's it. Unless maybe like WWE was there, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early for anything, right? We're just getting into Heat Wave. I don't think like a battle pass is something that could like headline an E3 presentation, and I also think it's way too early for a crossover. Like I don't know, right? Like I don't want to say I believe it just because, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be mean, right? Like I'm skeptical about how much experience Papagenos has with Brawlhalla outside of like the discussion about Rayman and Smash, right? And I can't really like testify or speak to how credible this video is because I've never seen it, right? I'm just going off of the idea that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter are plausible crossover ideas. For me, I think the big thing is that so many of these crossovers have been Warner properties, right? Because you have all of the Cartoon Network stuff, you have Steven Universe, you have Adventure Time, you have Ben 10. I think Hellboy was in preparation for the Hellboy movie, which I think was released by Warner Brothers. I think. You can correct me on that. And I also have no idea what's up with the AMC Walking Dead. I don't know what the deal with that is. So for me, TMNT is owned by Nickelodeon, which is owned by Viacom. So it's like, do they advertise stuff that's like side by side with Warner Brothers stuff? You know, is that something that they're able to or they want to? Then again, we also just got Kung Fu Panda, right? And that's a DreamWorks property. I think I don't remember if DreamWorks is doing anything with Universal, or if like they're connected at any degree. But yeah, that's another weird thing. So maybe I'm just like talking out of my butt. I don't know. I think for Brawlhalla, I don't think we're going to see anything at the forward. It's too early for a Battle Pass announcement. As of me recording this, the Battle Pass has just ended. Brawlhalla has just ended. And it was only like a few weeks that we just got the Kung Fu Panda crossover. I don't think we see anything from Brawlhalla and E3 at E3. I mean, I could be proven wrong. We could be seeing TMNT, but yeah. Okay, so back to the leak and back to its connections to Rayman. So I know this is Ubisoft, and I shouldn't be talking about Smash. I'm going to be talking Smash in the next one, but basically, I'm skeptical about this leak, not just because of the validity of the video, but also about what connection this guy has with knowing about Rayman. So, I think like basically it's like knowing. Okay, wait a second. I thought I had to sneeze. Knowing about Brawlhalla doesn't necessarily correlate to knowing about everything that goes on with Ubisoft. I can't imagine that Blue Mammoth Games is like integrated or even like on the same level as like the other studios like Milan or Montpellier or whatever, you know, like all these other big, you know, developers and like stuff. Like they acquired Blue Mammoth Games, but I'm not sure if they're on the same level where like everything, all the affairs that go on with Ubisoft pass through all these companies, you know? Like, in my mind, and I'm not sure if I'm not knowledgeable about all this company stuff, but in my mind, I'm envisioning that, like, Ubisoft owns Blue Mammoth Games, but they're doing their own thing in their own little corner, you know? And Ubisoft sort of supervises or green lights stuff, you know? And maybe even funds stuff that allows them to be able to do big things like crossovers and stuff. So for me, I don't know how much knowing stuff about Brawlhalla correlates to a lot of like stuff about Ubisoft affairs in general. Alongside that, Smash information is usually on a need-to-know basis, right? Like, I think it's important to realize that like outside of a few fringe things like Steve being known like years in advance, and a few like random stuff about like Sephiroth that are probably just guesses, almost all characters after Terry haven't really been leaked, you know? Like so many like characters, especially like all of like the what is it, like the Nintendo characters too, right? Like there's one supposedly there's like one leak for like the February Direct that predicted everything, but they didn't guess Pyra and Mithra, right? Like outside of like maybe one or two leaks about maybe Sephiroth that are probably just guesses, nothing's happened since Terry, you know? And all the leaks that we have seen about Smash Brothers stuff have been like either like leaks by Nintendo themselves, like with them posting the Castlevania music early, doing accidentally releasing that SNK was involved with Smash, the Joker render in the Best Buy ad before Joker was out, or it's just stuff by leakers that's just basically hearsay. Like there's some notable leakers that are like Steve's happening, Steve's gonna like Minecraft stuff's gonna be in Smash Ultimate, but that was like years in advance because Steve was negotiated for like a whole bunch of years, you know? And it's like just like hearsay stuff. No one's going like, oh, his up B is gonna be this, his side B is gonna be that, his down A is gonna be this. Like, you know what I mean? Like no one has all that details and stuff. So like if what is it, like if some random person knows about Rayman, it's like, why that, you know? It's like, if you know about Brawlhalla stuff, talk to us about Rainbow Six Siege, talk to us about hypothetical Mario plus Rabbids stuff, talk to us about other Rayman stuff, you know? If it's just, hey, here's some Brawlhalla stuff and Rayman's not coming to Smash, it's like, why would Blue Mammoth Games be like involved with that negotiation, you know? It's like it's too like random correlation stuff. And I think maybe it might even be a case of like, the stuff that he's leaking is real, but the information that he's talking about isn't, right? Like, there's been some information about that stuff, right? There's been a few cases of like, some stuff is real, some stuff isn't. Some people mix fake stuff with real stuff, and it's like, you know what I mean? Or even just like stuff like assumptions and stuff, you know? And okay, so this isn't me like just trying to deflect for the sake of saying, oh, Rayman's definitely getting in, because believe me, I'm actually totally prepared for Rayman not to be in Smash Brothers in any degree, you know? I'm saying this because I'm skeptical of someone involved with Brawlhalla knowing about Smash Brothers stuff, when that would be between the higher ups of Ubisoft and Nintendo, you know? Like, I don't know, like, if there's any more involvement with like Capcom and what is it, in Smash Brothers, I'd imagine something like that might have come out of that Capcom leak, but because it didn't, if any more Capcom stuff happens with Nintendo, that just proves that like stuff involving Smash is super like high security, you know what I mean? So basically my main conclusion is, even if Rayman doesn't get in, I don't think this video deconfirms him or confirms or anything, this leaker particularly. I don't know. I just don't think that this is something that Rayman's chances hinges on. If he doesn't get in, he doesn't get in. If he gets in, he gets in, you know? But I mean, outside of that, are we going to see Rayman at E3? I don't know. It's weird. It's his 30th anniversary this year, so like, I don't know. It's weird to say. I don't know. There's been so many leaks. Most of them have been like fake, obviously, but so many are like, oh, we're going to see Rayman. We're going to be seeing Rayman. We're going to see Rayman. One name I've been seeing a ton of leaks has been like Mario plus Rabbids, a TC bit of trouble. I've seen so many leaks that have been talking about, oh, Rayman's going to be in the next Mario plus Rabbids sequel and all that stuff. And like, obviously, I think it's a little suspicious, right? I think it's kind of weird that all of these leaks have this name. It's there's a potential that like that name is fake, and some leakers just have been catching on because they think it's real, or because, you know, not too many people have been talking about Mario plus Rabbids, so maybe like them talking about including Rayman is like another thing. But I don't know. It's weird. There's just so much weird stuff involving Rayman. There have been like new trademarks, which I'll link to in the description and maybe in like a card or something. New trademarks. There's I don't know. It's like there's that weird post about like those like concept art where someone's saying, "Oh, Rayman's getting in. Rayman's doing something," and it's like, you know, like, but then like they like immediately deleted that. There's the weird Sam AI assistant thing that when you ask them about Smash Brothers, they mentioned Rayman and stuff, and then that got deleted. I don't know. It's weird, right? I think this whole like free-to-play announcement opens the door up for either a small-scale game or a free-to-play game. I know a lot of people are thinking that because they said they had this big free-to-play switch, that anything involving Rayman or even a new Rabbids game is negated. But I don't think that the free-to-play switch negates that. One, you could be getting a new Rayman game that's free-to-play. Two, because we don't see a whole lot of Rayman, he might be a low-priority franchise, so he might not be considered a AAA franchise. So any new Rayman game might not be considered AAA and might not fall into that new AAA game that they want to try making less of. And so that's basically it, right? There's so much stuff going on with Rayman that it feels weird if we don't see him again. You know what I mean? It's his 30th. It'd be weird if they didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, this is like way different from like when like Metroid's 25th or something, you know, where it's like, it's just nothing, you know? But it's also like we don't have anything to go off of, right? Here it's like we have so much Metroid stuff to go off of that, like, the Metroid anniversary, we could totally see something, right? This is the same thing with me, right? I totally think that we could see something with Rayman this year at E3, and it could take the form of anything. It could be the new Netflix show that they've been talking about, the new, you know, animation stuff for Netflix. It could be a free-to-play game. It could be a new game. It could be like, it could be like a new, it could be his involvement in Mario plus Rabbids. You know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Rabbids. So, no one's talking about Rabbids, right? There have been a few leakers who have been saying, oh, there's some Nintendo, Ubisoft collaboration that's happening at E3, and I'm like, is it Rabbids? Is it Rabbids? Is it Rabbids? No one's talking about Rabbids. Can someone please talk about Rabbids? No one's talking about Rabbids. It's like, Rabbids is weird, right? There was that whole thing at Twitter where like the Rabbids handle switched from Rabbids official to Mario Rabbids, which is weird, right? Especially since like other Rabbids accounts in other countries, like they're always posting stuff about Rabbids, but like the US Rabbids stuff, it's like it's only like Mario plus Rabbids stuff, and they post like super infrequently, and all their profile pics and art is like exclusively from Mario plus Rabbids. It's like it feels like they just have stuff, you know, and it's like after everyone was talking about it, they switched back. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. I think for me, the thing that's been getting me to think more about Rabbids is that there's like this leak, right? And this one feels a lot more credible. Essentially, it's like the basis of this leak is that there's so I guess you could say like a few years ago, there was the announcement of a Rabbids movie. Basically, it would be like some form of animation live action hybrid, right? And supposedly this new leak goes that version of the movie, I don't know if that one was the one that had involvement with Aardman Animation, but essentially that version of the movie is scrapped, and they're doing a new version of the movie which is completely like CGI, and it's supposedly some sort of reimagining of Rabbids Go Home. Basically, that's a part of a larger project to sort of reboot or reimagine the Rabbids franchise to be like this more like cute and cuddly like mascot franchise, you know, instead of like this sort of like fringe, weird, crass sort of franchise that's sort of been like this weird offshoot of Rayman or whatever. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to appeal to like the Japanese demographic, because a lot of mascots are really popular there, and even mascots that don't originate from Japan, like Crash Bandicoot, have found success there. So that's basically the ethos of like this movie and this new franchise reboot. And because of that, there's going to be some new projects that they supposedly said are coming alongside this refresh. Like one of them they mentioned was a 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em up that's supposedly set in the Rabbids Invasion TV show world. They described it compared to Parodius. I don't know why they didn't just say Gradius, but I don't know. I don't know what reason why they mentioned Parodius, but there was that. They also said that they saw a lot of concept art for Rabbids dressed up as various like anime characters, which is weird, right? They mentioned Bakugo from My Hero Academia and some character from RE0, and like that's like really random, right? Like, sure, Rabbids have dressed up a ton in the past, but I don't think I've ever like remembered, outside of like them dressing up as Ubisoft characters, I can't remember them dressing up as like other licensed characters. They are speculating that that's like some sort of arena fighter or another party game. That's like such a random thing, but like, I don't know, that's so weird, you know? I don't know. And then their latest discussion on like their Reddit page talked about because of the fact that The movie's taking heavy inspiration from Rabbids Go Home. They're thinking that this could coincide with some sort of Go Home remake. So part of me feels like, I don't know, I think a lot of it has credibility to it has to do with the fact that they they posted discussions with the director. They posted a picture of the script. I don't know. It just feels like way too involved, to just be like kind of a fake thing. They just keep on talking. They keep on talking about stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of this feels plausible. I don't know how much of this stuff we're going to see at E3 though, They made it sound like the movie is quite a ways away. Like, almost like the script is almost just like they just finished like the rough draft or something. Which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about all of that. For me personally, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I think the only thing I could see us seeing maybe is like the shoot 'em up. Maybe. That's on the other thing. Outside of the next thing, which is Mario plus Rabbids. Mario plus Rabbids is kind of weird, right? Like I mentioned before, the weird Twitter stuff. Another thing that I don't think everyone just completely forgot about was like the survey that they did. There's like this survey where they're asking questions about what people wanted to see in Mario plus Rabbids. Like new characters and stuff. And everyone just like forgot about that. And I get that surveys happen all the time. But I don't know. I just feel like it's like really random. And there's also been a lot of job listings for Ubisoft Milan involved with 3D animation. And they're using a lot of Mario plus Rabbids assets and stock footage, stock images to like advertise those listings. So it feels like it might be a part of a Rabbids project. On top of all that, there's been a ton of different leaks saying that we're going to see Mario plus Rabbids and we're going to see Rayman involved. And it feels like there's way too much stuff to maybe like just say that like nothing's happening, right? I feel like something's happening. I don't know if it's like exactly true. I don't know if it's going to be called a teensy bit of trouble. I don't know if Rayman's going to be involved with it. I definitely know that it probably will just be sticking with Mario, right? I don't think the next logical extent is to have Rabbids start crossing over with other Nintendo stuff like a Zelda plus Rabbids or Pikmin plus. I don't think that's the logical extension of this thing, I think Mario plus Rabbids is going to be its own franchise and they're going to expand from that because like if you've seen the history of this project, right? This didn't just start like a few years ago. There have been pitches for a Mario Rabbids crossover back in the Wii days, So this is a thing that they've wanted to do for a while. I don't think they're going to like drop that and go to like Zelda plus Rabbids, At least in my opinion. I personally think we could see a Mario plus, just because there's so much smoke, right? And when there's smoke, they pinch back. But I don't know. There's just way too much stuff going on for me not to believe that Mario Rabbids thing is happening. So I don't know. I guess like real quickly, I could just like rattle off some stuff I'd like to see. Obviously I'd like to see more characters. Ideally, like the DLC roster and the main roster merged. I'd love to see Donkey Kong in the main roster. I'd love to see I love to see like maybe like Rosalina or Daisy. Maybe figure out a way to bring in Wario or Waluigi. I also wouldn't mind them extending the crossover stuff, like other Nintendo and Ubisoft characters, like say, I don't know, Phoenix from Immortals Phoenix Rising or an Inkling from Splatoon, I think are pretty decent choices. I'd also wouldn't mind seeing Rayman, I'd love to see Rayman there. I want to see some online play. I'd like to see some sort of online mode. They, at like the end of the game's life cycle, they did a lot of these challenges, and they had like a tournament challenges where you had to like beat levels with certain conditions. And I don't know if that's something that's really effective for the game. It just feels like sort of like they could design a system where you could like play online against other people and stuff, especially since they made a battle mode around the game's after the game's release. I also love to see a level creator. I feel like the game is really modular, so placing blocks and creating high ground and stuff, I think that stuff could work really well for Mario plus Rabbids. I don't know, I just want to see like a larger amount of crossover, like a larger crossover element. The rabbits are weird because they've been described by a lot of people as white canvas characters. You know, you apply anything onto them, you can do anything with them. And I think the issue with that is that they're kind of hard to cross over with, right? It's like, you know, they're neutral, you know, so it's hard for them to do crossover stuff. Like if you had like a Mario Assassin's Creed crossover, or like a Mario Splinter Cell crossover, you could do stuff with that. But it's like, it's a miracle that they were able to make anything with Mario plus Rabbids, because even though I like the game, and even though if I had never heard of it, I would be in love with this game, you know, I couldn't for the life of me come up with a concept where you could create a crossover with these two franchises, right? But they were able to do it. I just want to see that be enhanced, you know? So that's basically it for Ubisoft. I talked a lot about Ubisoft. I think we should end things off with Nintendo. Alright, I'm gonna keep it chill. I don't really have a whole lot to say about Nintendo, honestly. Mostly because I feel like we know a lot and we also know pretty little. As far as I can tell, Ubisoft is probably like the only company that's actually announced the date and time when their presentation is. As I'm recording this right now, there's just been some announcement about Summer Game Fest, the Summer Game Fest, which is happening on the 12th, the Thursday, which I think Ubisoft is on the 12th too, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, Nintendo's kind of at a weird spot because there's been a lot of leaks, there's been a lot of announcements by Nintendo themselves, and there's just a lot of stuff that we can sort of just like glean from like previous years. So I don't know, I'm just gonna like go off of like some small stuff. And then we can end the video off, because this video is actually getting pretty long. Actually, it might actually be an hour, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so Smash Brothers. I think we're only going to see one character. Only because I feel like in previous years they've wanted to make a big deal out of last characters. The last character for Smash 4 DLC was a big deal. The last character for the first Fighter Pass was a big deal. And so I think they're going to make a big deal out of this Smash Brothers character. This like last Smash Brothers character. So I think they're going to do what they did with the first like direct of 2021, is that they're going to kick off the direct, I think, with a Smash Brothers reveal. I can't think of any like character, because you can't really predict Smash Brothers, right? Like, it just becomes wishes at that point. I want to say Crash Bandicoot, right? Like, it's his 25th. He feels like a pretty decent character for Smash. Activision are going to be at E3 alongside the Summer Games Fest. So I feel like, personally, Crash is pretty decent. There's also been theories that Microsoft have a deal where all of their characters get revealed at E3 or around E3. So there's a decent chance that maybe the next character could be another Microsoft character, like a Master Chief. I'm thinking, there's also another decent chance that they could also be a Pokemon as well. It's the 25th, right? Or maybe the 30th. I kind of forget, honestly. Like, I don't know. It could be a Pokemon. I hope it's Toxtricity, if it is any Pokemon. But yeah, I only think one Smash Brothers character, and then later on in the year, we'll probably get another dedicated Smash Brothers Direct, where I think they'll do what they did with Byleth, and they'll do a combined reveal and presentation where they discuss all the characters' moves and stuff, and also reveal the character at the same time. I'm not sure about the theory about the bonus fighter. That's kind of one of those wait and see sort of situations, but they're not gonna blow their load at this E3. I think they're gonna save for one character. Pokemon. As tradition, I don't think we'll see Pokemon at E3. There'll probably just be some random like 30-second thing where like, oh hey, we're making stuff. Please buy the stuff. That's pretty cool, and then it'll just be it. So Pokemon, they'll probably end up having their own Presents Direct a little bit before E3. I don't really know what they'll do. Like, there's been some rumors saying that it'll just be for like the release dates for the Diamond and Pearl remakes and for Unite, and I think that's plausible. I just don't know if they're going to do anything else. The only thing I'm interested in is what's up with all those rumors about the Masters collection. Like, pretty early in the year, we had this rumor going around that there would be like a collection of Game Boy Pokemon games, all in like a bundle, right? And like, I guess that makes sense because on Nintendo Switch Online, there's no Pokemon games, right? So like, basically like, it would make sense if maybe like if they wanted to release their own Game Boy stuff on Nintendo Switch, or like, you know what I mean, like it would make sense if maybe they wanted to put that stuff there, right? So for me it's just like that's something I think we could see, but I don't know if it's real or not because there's a whole retail listing that happened like a while ago and people are like, oh man, that's a thing that's happening. I don't know what's up with that. That's the one thing I'm interested in. I don't know what's happening with Detective Pikachu at all. Like, remember when that got announced like a billion years ago? And nothing came out of that? Like the presentation where Pokemon Home got announced? That's whack. I don't know what's up with that. Especially since like some actors in Detective Pikachu are like, I don't know if we're getting a sequel, right? So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't think we'll see much more of Legends Arceus for a while. So I'm imagining this thing's going to be pretty light. Okay, so I listed off some other things real quickly. There's Donkey Kong, Metroid, Zelda, and Kirby. Metroid, I don't know. It's been a while. Like I think the most we always see about retro news is that they're always hiring stuff, right? They're always hiring people. So maybe they're really in the thick of it. I don't know if we'll see anything, right? Like, the Metroid Prime 4 thing could have just been like some sort of weird power move where it's like, yeah, we're doing stuff, man. So I don't know. Maybe Metroid Prime 4 was some sort of weird figment of our imagination. Some like hallucinatory dream or something. I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's more likely that we'll see the rumored 2D Metroid than anything from Metroid Prime. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about Metroid. I do want to say that if we do see anything from Metroid Prime, I do hope in the future they have some sort of online competitive mode, because I feel like something like that would really extend the lifetime of that game, you know? Because Metroid is already like sort of like fringe and like kind of niche as it is, and I think something like an online mode would sort of like would extend its life and have it continue in the conversation. It can also like sort of like it can be sort of like a sister sort of game to like the Splatoon series, because it's like, it's not like they can't have multiple games of a similar genre, right? Like Nintendo has multiple 2D platformers, they have multiple racing games, they have multiple fighting games. I'm pretty sure they could probably have multiple online shooting games. Zelda, I don't know. This is the big one, right? The Legend of the Breath of the Wild sequel. I don't know, right? It seems like a big one. I feel like we usually wait really long for Zelda. And for me, this is it, right? Like, I feel like I can't talk about Zelda without the Switch Pro. Like, yeah, sure, in the past, they've done hardware announcements, but like as of recently, especially with the Switch, we haven't seen a lot of those like stuff like that at E3. They've had either their own presentations or they announced them on whatever. Like, will we see the Nintendo Switch Pro at E3? Because for me, it's like every like Switch thing has been paired with a Zelda game, right? The first Switch had Breath of the Wild. The second Switch had Link's Awakening, and ideally, the next Switch will have the Breath of the Wild sequel. Now, a lot of rumors are saying that's happening next year, or at least like the end of this year, right? So it's like, if Breath of the Wild gets pushed back to next year, does that mean we see the Switch Pro next year, right? I don't know. I'm kind of unsure. Donkey Kong is interesting. It is a super weird, right? Like, Donkey Kong, it's interesting that we're actually getting an anniversary game, right? Because that feels really rare with, like, Nintendo stuff, right? Like, Sonic has tons of anniversary games, but, like, Nintendo, like, yeah, they have games that coincide with anniversaries, but they never feel like they're, like, made with anniversaries in mind and stuff. And for me, it's like, what interest, like, the idea is that, like, it's a 2D game, right? I don't know, like, does a different team do the 2D Mario games from the 3D? Because I know the team that's being rumored to do the Donkey Kong game is the 3D Mario team. I'm just saying that because I've been hearing it be described as, like, not necessarily exactly like New Super Mario Bros., but like in essence, like the equivalent. It's like, it's supposed to be like the revitalization of 2D Donkey Kong. And I think it makes sense that they're making it, because obviously Retro is busy with Metroid Prime 4, and I don't know, hypothetically maybe like a new IP or something. So it's like, in my mind, I think it makes sense that they deal with Donkey Kong, right? For me, it's like, there's even been some rumors saying that, like, you know, Cranky and Diddy and the Kremlings are back. So it's like, what can you do to differentiate this new game from the country games? Not just the old ones, but the new ones, right? Because we just got, like, a Tropical Freeze, and I don't know how well that sold, right? But, like, compare that to, like, all of, like, the new 3D stuff, right? And all that stuff's selling really well. And it's like, if we already have a whole bunch of 2D Donkey Kong, all 3 original country games on Switch Online, and then we have Tropical Freeze, right? What's the purpose of having a new 2D Donkey Kong game, right? What are you gonna do that's gonna differentiate this new game from that game, right? And I'm not saying the only thing you can do is just make it 3D, right? Because I'm sure they're gonna figure out a way to design it with a different ethos in mind compared to Donkey Kong Country, right? Because Donkey Kong Country is really weird. Like, it's weird because, like, it takes the concept of precision and challenge from the arcade game, but it applies it to the character. So in a weird extent, like it makes Donkey Kong feel a lot more fragile as a character when he's supposed to be really big and imposing and, like, this huge stubborn beast, basically. So, like, it's interesting though, because I feel like when people are trying to figure out how to compare this this kind of new 2D game, they're always looking to other stuff that the Mario team has done, like Odyssey and stuff. But I think one thing that people could be looking at could be Jungle Beat, right? Because wasn't Jungle Beat designed by, like, the Mario team? And it's like, that's like a 2D Donkey Kong game, but it's super different from anything that was going on with Country, right? It has a different feel. It's able to capture, like, the character of Donkey Kong without rejecting, like it's able to, like, bring back his imposing, super strong nature. I don't know. And it was super unique because obviously you're playing with the bongos, and then in the Wii port you played with the nunchucks. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's easy for us to underestimate the potential of this being a really unique and really engaging experience, you know? I don't know. It's interesting. I'm excited. I don't think we can predict Donkey Kong though. You know, I think this is going to be like a weird, crazy, like, left field thing, like Odyssey. Like how Odyssey, like, it was like this really weird thing with, like, contrasting art styles, and it was like this big expansive thing. I think Donkey Kong is going to be really exciting. I'm actually probably the most excited about Donkey Kong. Lastly, I think I'm going to bookend this video with Kirby. There's been a lot of discussions about Kirby lately. A lot of discussions from the directors and stuff about the next phase of Kirby. And I don't know, I feel kind of skeptical, right? Because a lot of people are taking this as gospel to think that, like, we're getting a new big expansive Kirby game. It's going to be a 3D big expansive collectathon with open worlds and all crazy combat. And you're going to travel between planets and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of pushing it, right? Like Kirby Star Allies came out in like 2017, right? Like that's like 4 years, right? Is that enough time for them to like make a big 3D Kirby game? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's so much evidence within Star Allies and outside of it with discussions from like producers and stuff that makes it feel like that game was supposed to be the send-off of Kirby as we know it, right? But okay, so here's my deal, right? I think we're going to see Kirby at E3. I'm skeptical if it's going to be the big crazy game that everyone thinks it is, right? I think it will be a significant change from Star Allies, or at least some sort of evolution of Star Allies, right? I'm just skeptical as to whether or not it's going to be a 3D game. I know about the 3D assets in Fighters 2, right? I know about that stuff, right? And that stuff in there, and like maybe that stuff is say leftovers from Blowout Blast. I don't remember if there was a discrepancy about whether or not it was leftovers from Blowout Blast or not, or whether or not it's new stuff. But like, I know that. I'm skeptical about whether or not they have enough time and resources to make something big and experimental. I know there's rumors saying that there's going to be like 3 HAL projects, a mainline Kirby, a spin-off Kirby, and like another like original HAL project that's only going to be for the eShop. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of a leak, but it's also kind of a given, right? For me, it's like, do they have enough time, right? Do they have enough time to make something crazy cool for Kirby? I'm skeptical, right? Like, I'd love to see a big crazy Kirby game. I'm not someone who was disappointed by Star Allies. I really like Star Allies. So for me, like a game in that style that like improves and builds upon Star Allies systems, I'd be happy with. I don't know how happy other people would be, but I would be happy with that. I'm just skeptical about whether or not they can do something bigger than that, you know? Because it took them updates after the initial release for Star Allies to become this big thing that it eventually became. And I don't know how much time they'll have to make something new from scratch rather than building upon what they have, you know? Because that was always something I was thinking about. The next Kirby game is going to be building on Star Allies. But the way that they've been setting it up, the next Kirby game to be something really different and very, you know, very divergent, it's like, I don't know, I'm skeptical. And even if they do, you know, is it going to be of quality, you know? Are people going to be more disappointed than they were with Star Allies? And I don't know. I don't like to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just hopeful that it turns out to be something that people will appreciate, you know? I think that's gonna do it. I'm really excited for E3 this year. I guess some things outside of that, I don't know. I want to see some Bandai Namco games come to Switch. Like, I'd love to see Dragon Ball Z Kakarot come back. I know that Fall Guys on Switch got delayed, but I still kind of hope we get some sort of update on that, like the new date for it, right? If it's coming on fall or holiday or something, so I can have something to look forward to. But I think outside of that, I think that's pretty much all the stuff I have to say about E3 stuff. Hopefully, some of the stuff I've talked about comes true. For a lot of like the leak stuff, I'll try and put some of the stuff in like cards and in the description. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Thank you for watching all the way through. I hope all of your E3 dreams come true, and have a wonderful week, and take care. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a comment and tell me what you thought about it. Also, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can always know when I upload a video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.